Hare Krishna. Vraja Dipika Mataji is joining in sometime. She's having some technical issues. Maybe we can start with reciting the verse. Anyone wants to recite? I can start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 2.6.7 Vikramo Bhurbhuva Swascha Shemasya Sharanasya Cha Sarvakama Varasyapi Harishcharana Ashpadam.
Vikramo bhurbuva swascha shemasya sharnasya cha sarvakama varasyapi harishcharan aspadam.
Vikramo Bhurvubah Vascha Keshimasya Saranasya Cha Sarvakama Varasyapi Harishcharana Aspadam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhus and Mataji, can you all see me, hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. My apologies for late joining in today. Somehow my computer stopped working, so I am joining through my phone. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are reading from Canto 2, Chapter 6, Puruṣa-sūkta Canto. And today we will be discussing verse 7. So verse 7. Vikramabodho swasas Vikramabodho Vikramo Bhurva swasya Kshimasya Sharanasya cha Sarvakama Varasyapi Harishcharana Aspadam. Vikramo Bhurvasvasya Kshimasya Sharanasya cha Sarvakama Varasyapi Harishcharana Aspadam. Vikramo Bhurvasvasya Kshimasya Sharanasya cha Sarvakama Varasyapi Harishcharana Aspadam. Synonyms and translations by His Divineness A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Jai. Vikramaha, forward step. Bhuha, Bhuvaha, of the lower and upper planets. Swaha, as well as of heaven. Cha, also. Kshemasya, of the protection, all that we have. Sharanasya, of fearlessness. Cha, also. Sarvakama, all that we need. Varasya, of all benediction. Api, exactly. Hare, of the Lord. Charana, the lotus feet. Aspadam, shelter. Translation. Thus, the forward steps of the Lord are the shelter of upper, lower, and heavenly planets, as well as for all that we need. His lotus feet serve as a protection from all kind of fear. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I read, please?
Well, Mataji.
Prabhupada Bhashya Prabhupada Ki Jai. For absolute protection from all sorts of fear, as well as for all our needs of life, we must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, not only in this planet, but also in all the upper, lower, and heavenly planets. This absolute dependence on the lotus feet of the Lord is called pure devotional service, and it is directly hinted within this passage. No one should have any kind of doubt in this matter, nor should one be inclined to seek the help of any other demigods, because all of them are dependent on him.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Could anyone hear Sundarani, Mataji?
Did you hear me? Can you hear me?
I lost you a little bit, Mataji.
Oh, okay. All right. Where did you lose me?
I think the last line I heard is that all dependent upon something like that.
Okay. So I will start from everyone. Is it? Oh, all dependent. No one. Okay. No one should have any kind of doubt in this matter, nor should one be inclined to seek the help of any other demigods, because all of them are dependent on him only. Everyone except the Lord himself is dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Even the all-providing Supersoul is also dependent on the supreme aspect of Bhagavatam, the personality, Bhagavan, sorry, the aspect of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much. So here, Lord Brahma, so basically just try and connect with the previous verse, or the beginning of the chapter. The chapter is called Puruṣa-sūkta. Puruṣa-sūkta confirmed. So Narad Muni asked Lord Brahma about the actual identity of the Supreme Lord, who is the creator, what is the universe is made of, and then Lord Brahma describes the sequence of creation, the beginning of Karanadaksha Vishnu, the Virat form or Garbhodaksha Vishnu, which then led to the, of course, universal form of the Lord. And then continuing his response to Narad Muni, then Brahma recites, then Brahma starts actually reciting his own prayer, basically, and that is called Puruṣa-sūkta. Now, Sūkta is made of two words, Su and Ukta. Ukta in Sanskrit, Ukti is a Sanskrit term, and in English it means speech. And so when Su prefix is given to any word, that means is well. So well spoken or very good speech, we can etymologically we can understand it that way. So Puruṣa-sūkta, and here the Purush is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So basically here the Puruṣa-sūkta is basically Lord Brahma is glorifying Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Now this prayer originally come from Rigveda, and here Brahma is reciting in his own words. So hence it is called Puruṣa-sūkta confirmed. Now in verses up from verse from the first verse up to here, we have seen that different limbs of the Lord actually becomes the cause of the creation. For example, in the first verse, it is said that the mouth of Virat Purusha is become the creates the voice, and the jihva of the I have said, yeah. So the mouth of the Virat Purush becomes the generating center of the voice and the controlling deity. Then in the later verse, it is said that okay, the nostrils are the generating center of our breathing and all the airs. So in this way, the description goes that different limbs of the Lord becomes the different aspects of material creation. And here in the verse 7, it is said that the Lord's steps is the shelter of upper, lower, and heavenly planets. Bhu, Bhuvaha, and Swaha. So Bhu is lowerly planets, Bhuvaha is upperly planets. Earthly Bhu is earthly and lower planets. Bhuvaha is upper planets, and Swaha is the heavenly planet. And as well as all that we need. Sarva Kama Varasya, be very important point. And then, or he also says that Lord serves as the protection from all kind of fears. So we can see that everything in the creation, or there is no place basically where it doesn't rest upon the Lord, or there is nowhere everything in the creation, or there is nothing in the creation that doesn't rest upon the Lord. So basically, aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarva pravardate iti bhajva majante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, in Shikshataka, he gave this prayer, Ai nanda tanuja kim karam patitam va vishame bhavam pujo kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita duli shadrasham vichintaya. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared, he also wanted to become at the as the dust at the feet. Kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita duli. He also wanted to become the dust at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. And so then the point comes that okay, why the lotus feet? What does the taking shelter mean? So taking shelter mean when we think of a physical body of someone, taking shelter means is basically sitting at the feet, or sitting at the feet, which is the lowest part of the body. That means we put ourselves at the bottom of someone's feet. That means it is without ego. It is the humbling position. And hence taking shelter. So when we hear about such descriptions of Krishna and his creation, taking shelter means we understand that Krishna is the creator, and we put ourselves at the humbling position. In Canto 3, chapter 5 and verse 39 onwards, actually demigods, after being created, and you know how in the purport of previous what Srila Prabhupada explained, the demigods are created there, but they are actually manager of the maintenance of the universal affairs. So they are also not independent themselves. So before they start maintaining their maintenance effectivity of the material creation, they offer beautiful prayer to Lord Krishna. And those prayers come in Canto 3, chapter 5. And basically, these prayers talk about effect of taking a shelter. And we lost some time today, but I'll try and discuss about one or two verses at least today in a concise way. Let's see how much we can cover. So this is from verse 3.5.39. Namamate deva padaravinde prapannatapo mashatatapatram yanmulaketa yatayonjasuru samsara dukkham bahirut utshipanti. So namama deva te padaravind. So basically this line makes sense. Namama deva te padaravind. I namami, I bow down. Deva, O Lord, here Deva means O Lord. And padaravind, I bow down. O Lord, I bow down to your lotus feet. Prapanna tapa upashama atapatram. So the shelter to your lotus feet is basically like Atapatram. Atapatram means umbrella. So what does umbrella do? Umbrella protects us from rain. It doesn't stop rain, but basically it gives us, it protects us so that we don't get wet. Similarly, taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, what does it do? It acts like an atapatra. It acts like an umbrella. From what? From prapanna, from from tapa, that means from distress, upashrama, from miseries. So taking a shelter of a lotus feet at the Lord, what happens is it gives us the shelter. It gives us the shelter. It protects us from misery. It protects us from tapa, and it protects us from upasana. So one thing to understand here is that taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, it doesn't stop the miseries, but we get protection. We get protected, and we can see that practically when I was preparing for class, and I was like, what are the situations where people have or devotees have taken the shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord and they feel protected? And what I could think of COVID, when COVID happened, we could see that there was a lot of disturbance. People were in so much of fearful situation, and because of dying people were in a fearful situation because they were quarantined, so they were loneliness. There were so many issues that happened during that time. But if we compare that situation, those with the normal people and those who has taken a Krishna consciousness, it is like they were not so those who had taken the shelter at the feet of Krishna, they were not disturbed. You can see, all right, when I was reflecting, I could think of my Guru Maharaj. During COVID time, he gave the class on Vrindavan series, and that were like amazing, most amazing classes. So many, I've heard so much glories of these classes. I've heard devotees actually preparing books for Krishna on the basis of such class. So this is just an example, but so many devotees, they went internal. They took this an opportunity to come too close to Krishna. I was hearing Amrindra Prabhu's class one, and he was saying that time that it is the time to sharpen our arrows. So when the situation uh, are back to normal, there are enough arrows in our quicker so that we can go out and preach and bring people at the feet of Krishna. So and why there is a different approach? Because devotees are under the shelter of Krishna. So that is the understanding of this verse. Then prayer continues up to, there are 5 verses. We won't have time to discuss everything, but maybe 1 or 2 more verses. So then in next verse, 3.5.40, the verse is like, धातार्यदस्मिन् भवैष जीवा तापत्रयेण बहिता न शर्मा आत्मान लभन्ते भगवां स्तवांग्री यच्छाया savidhyam atmashe. So here, dharyat asmin bhava isha jiva. So dharya means father. Then another word here is isha. Isha means controller. And then there is another word in the line that is used for Krishna is Bhagwan. So here demigods are addressing Krishna as Father, as Lord, as Controller, and Bhagwan as the Supreme Personality of Godhead who possesses all appearances in the fullest. Now, I'll come to it. So when they take so they're addressing Krishna as Lord, Bhagwan, and Father, and they're saying that when they take shelter at the feet at the lotus feet of Krishna, they receive knowledge. Now, how to understand this? If we think of Krishna as Shyam Sundar Tribhanga form, so that Krishna is bent at the three parts of the body, and in that form, how Krishna stands, one of the feet of Krishna is like standing. He touched his tippy toes to the ground, the rest of the feet is like in the air. Now, if the feet is like in the air, what happens is it creates a shadow on the ground. And what demigods are asking, that here the word used in the verse is chayam. Chayam means the shadow, angri chayam, the shadow of your lotus feet. So the demigods here are asking to take the shadow under the lotus, take the shelter under the shadow of that lotus feet. Now, interesting is when we say take the shadow, so when we take the taking the shelter at the shadow of the lotus feet, what happens is that in this beginning of the verse, it is also said that there are the living entities in this world can never be happy because they are always under the misery. Tapa, Traya, Abhihata. So they are always under three kinds of misery. We all know Adideva, Adi Adhyatmik, and Adibhuta. And because of these miseries, they are always under the ignorance. They don't know how to deal with the difficulties, and because of that, they are always distressed. But when we take the shelter under the shadow of the lotus feet of Krishna, we receive knowledge. So that means receiving knowledge means what? Receiving knowledge means we accept his instruction and we act. We put our humilities aside, we accept his instruction, and we act accordingly. So taking shelter at the feet of the feet of the Lord gives us knowledge. Earlier verse, what I was trying to convey, that taking shelter at the feet of the Lord gives relief from all miseries. Here the verse says that the taking shelter at the feet of the Lord gives us the knowledge. Now, in the next verse, 5.41, this verse is a very beautiful verse. I'll recite and then we discuss. Marganti yat mukha padma, marganti yatte mukha padma nire, chanda shuparne rashayo vivikte. Yashyakamasho dasharidvaraya padam padam tirtha padam prapanna. So to understand this verse, let's imagine a tree. Let's compare a form of a tree and then form of a Krishna or Krishna's body. So form of a tree, in tree we can see there are three parts. The top part of the tree where the branches and leaves are, then the stem, and then the roots. And if we compare that with Krishna's body, then Krishna's head is like the top of the tree, Krishna's body is the stem of a tree, and Krishna's feet, which are like the roots of the tree, or Krishna's root are like the Krishna's feet. So now when someone is walking in the scorching heat, and if there is no tree around, there is no shelter around, and if he's looking for a shelter, how can he find a shelter, or how can he look for the shelter? What he can do is he can see the birds flying in the sky, And by looking at the flying bird in the sky and looking at the shadow of the bird on the ground and following that shadow, slowly, that person will reach to the tree. So here, the birds that is flying in the sky, that bird will reach at the top of the tree, and the person who is walking on the road or walking on the path, that the person, because it's walking, it will reach to the bottom part of the tree where the roots are. Now, as I said, that we have imagined the tree with the Krishna's body. So the person, and the bird that are flying high in the sky, they are like sages. They are like advanced devotees. They are like brahmanas in the society. And when birds take shelter at the top of the tree, brahmana takes shelter at the lotus mouth of Krishna. And the neophyte devotees or practicing sadhakas who follow the shadow, basically, so who follow the brahmanas or the advanced devotee in the society, they go at the root of the feet. They go at the root of the tree, which is basically feet of Lord Krishna. So now another point to it is that Brahmana takes shelter at the mouth of Krishna. And what does Krishna's mouth emanate? Krishna's mouth emanate Bhagavad Gita. And so basically Brahmanas, sages, advanced devotees, they take shelter under Krishna's instruction. What does emanate from Krishna's feet? Krishna's feet, river Ganga emanates. So the devotees are performing sadhakas, practicing sadhakas, they take shelter of a Ganga. Now, taking shelter of a Ganga means what? Taking bath in river Ganga. What happens when you take bath in river Ganga? What happens when we take bath in river Ganga? What happens is our sins get destroyed. But when we take shelter of Bhagavad Gita, or when we take the shelter of Bhagavad Gita, what happens is our sinful tendency get destroyed. So we as a practicing devotee, we as a practicing sadhaka, we can do both. We can take shelter at the feet. At the same time, we can follow the shadow and try and take a shelter of it, of the Krishna's lotus feet by following the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, by following the instruction that we hear from the seniors. By hear from the senior, from the advanced devotees, by our acharyas in the moment. And so we can practice both depending upon our inclination. There are few more verses that actually basically talks about effect of taking shelter at the feet of the Lord. That verse 42 and verse 43 of this canto as well. But I note we are 1 minute over 7, and I'm sorry for the beginning part. My computer just stopped suddenly. But if anything that I missed, or anyone would like to add anything or share anything, please feel free to share. Okay, we'll stop our discussion here today. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna willing, we'll see you again tomorrow for our glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Mataji. Thank you.
Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna V.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.